Why is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
This weekend, I'm taking the kids to go read to dogs
Oh,
on
what?
Saturday. Yeah.
Are they going to read chicken books?
I don't know. I don't know if we get to pick the books because probably what I would want to read to a dog is different than what people at the public library would want someone to read to the
What would
dogs.
you want to read to a dog?
I don't know. I just know it's not going to be what they think. You know what I
I
mean?
hope they don't want them to read dog stories to dogs, because dog stories are very depressing and that's not good for a dog's psyche.
It's true. Yeah. No, if they're reading The Dog's Purpose or those ones, then that's just going to be like, no. Yeah, Marley and Me.
No. Hachi.
Yeah, maybe I'll just bring like my copy of the Keith Richards autobiography and read that to a dog.
Life. I think
Yeah.
reading Life to a dog would be a good one.
Like aspire beyond your standings, dog.
I agree. Like,
You can do better.
yeah.
You
I
know?
feel like, I'm trying to think from my
7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
terrible. I would read Valley of the Dolls.
Oh, interesting. Not any of the other of the Jacqueline
No.
Suzanne
Go with
from
the
her
classic.
oeuvre. Okay.
No, go with the
Interesting.
greatest. Growing up Brady, I feel like
Yeah, that's a good
Labradoodles would
one.
love that.
I just love the idea of like kind of almost this sort of invisible camera panning the room of people reading to dogs, and we just get to the end and it's like you or I reading something completely stupid to a
Well, we're going to need to read to dogs one day together.
I know,
And see
yeah.
how
Yeah.
we need to just travel with our own crew.
Right, we're reading The Perfect Storm or Into Thin Air to a dog.
Right.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Oh
Like,
my
here
God.
we go.
Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing.
This is Why, with your hosts, Heidi Hedquist and Luke Poling.
I think I would, this is what I would bring, because then I could come back every week and read them new ones. I would bring Letters
there
to
you go.
Sartre.
Whoa, it's funny you say that, because my first thought as you're looking to be, I'm like, I just thinking like, dear Penthouse, this normally doesn't happen to me.
Yes, exactly. And you know what? Amazingly, I just found in this, because I read this on a plane to Australia when I was in college.
I was gonna say, are you trying to look pretentious, or is that
for
just
sure? Of course,
yeah.
I was. Pretentious and like, I don't know, sexy, I guess.
Right.
My United Airlines menu, in-flight menu.
Oh wow, what were they serving that day?
They were serving, and this was the December 96 menu.
Oh, okay, that was a good year.
Yeah. Garden green salad accompanied by dressing of the day. Lasagna Florentine.
Oh, okay.
Poached cod Andalusia. Strawberry mousse. Starbucks freshly brewed coffee offered with compliments. Sutter Home Chardonnay or Deer Valley Cab Sauvignon.
And to which you just said yes?
I did.
Yeah.
Mid-flight, enjoy a light snack. And then prior to arrival, chilled orange juice, chicken crepe imperial, spring vegetable quiche. And you know what's funny about this? I need to show this to Rachel, because Rachel has done over the years, a lot of editing and proofreading for United Airlines.
Oh, interesting.
Clearly post 96. And this could have used her help. The misuse of capital letters on this baby is a lot. Yeah. So there you go. Now you know what they served.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the dogs
great.
would like that, but the dogs would like the book.
Yeah, I think so. And we just
maybe
heard. Oh,
we could
go
read
ahead.
like some mythology to them, like any mythology where the dogs are revered. And
yeah, certainly not nothing to do with Egyptian. That was all cat based.
What about Anubis?
Oh, okay, sure, that would work.
Oh, Marilee would be so proud.
That you're just able to just boom, there you go.
Both of us, yeah.
I have heard the word highlight. I have seen it on things. I in Newport, Rhode Island, always drove past the Highlight Center.
Okay.
What exactly is highlight?
It's the world's fastest ball sport.
Okay.
It's sort of like tennis if you could use a back wall on either end of the court and one sidewall to hit the ball off of instead of going over a net. So essentially, you're in a 3-walled court, and there's 3 sidewalls are in play, and you serve like in tennis. The ball can only bounce once. You can go out of bounds. You can drop it. It can take 2 bounces, but you use the walls to throw it off of, and the ball goes about 150 miles an hour.
Jeez, Pete.
And you're wearing, hold on, I don't know if you can,
Yeah.
you're wearing this on your hand.
Okay. And that it looks like, for folks listening to this, it's some sort of, it's like from Tron, like a
Yes. I don't even know what it was in Tron, but everyone keeps writing on our social media. That's
Okay.
basically
All
Tron.
right. Well,
Oh,
I hate to follow along with the crowd, but
no.
it
That's
looks
okay.
like sort of some sort of glove almost, or basket in your hand that you kind of,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
basically, I don't know, your hand slides in it like you're putting it in a baseball glove, but then you have this big
So it's
curved round thing you have to catch the ball in.
and you also need to be careful if you're scratching an itch on your face.
Yes.
That is true. And it's hard to tie your shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
They have to call time out, and someone comes out on the court and ties their shoe.
Wow.
So why highlight over racquetball or tennis itself or pickleball? What makes it so special?
Super dangerous.
Sold. Sign me up.
Pickleball is for babies. I have a huge aversion to pickleball. Not
Okay, I
playing
do
it,
too.
but that people would watch it. It's basically tennis for old people who want to
Right.
sprawl their court in a slower pace. I'm an old person, so I can say that. Highlight is for the matadors that are left in this world. I mean, it's super dangerous. They don't wear any padding. They wear a helmet so they don't get killed or concussed. It's a concrete floor. It's glass walls on the front and the back, a side wall. They're always slamming into it. And the ball goes about 150 miles an hour. So it's a cool sport.
It also seems like an unforgiving sport. Is it just rife with injuries? And
There are a lot of injuries. You have to have a certain level of proficiency before at least we will let you go out on the court and use the actual ball. The ball's a little bit harder than a hockey puck and a tiny bit
Geez.
smaller than a
Yeesh.
baseball.
Oh,
all right.
enough said.
So people will start off with a tennis ball, right? We'll let them go out and practice with a tennis ball. And then we actually found I don't know who makes it or why, but it's like a harder, heavier tennis ball that they graduate to, and then maybe to a lacrosse ball before we let them use this, because it is unforgiving.
Do you guys snicker when someone goes out there with a tennis ball?
I had to learn to at least throw and catch with some proficiency so the players didn't laugh at me. So no, I don't snicker. First time I used the real ball, I threw it off the wall. I thought I was a champ. It came back, it bounced once, and it hit me in the face. So
There you go.
quick humility.
So how did you find the sport? How did you get into the sport? Because it seems like it's something that is it at its height of popularity? Where is that going from here? I guess those are 2 questions.
So no, okay. Well, I'll give you 2 answers.
Perfect.
As a 16-year-old kid growing up in Hartford, Connecticut, you could go to the Jai-Alai Fronton with your fake ID, because you needed to be 18. You need to be 18 then, and you could bet, and they would serve you a beer.
There you go.
Every 16-year-old junior in high school in Hartford, Connecticut went to Jai-Alai on Friday and Saturday nights so we could get beer and bet. And that's where I became a fan of Jai-Alai. But you kind of have to fast forward almost probably 25, 30 years later, and I was running a casino in Miami. I'm still running a casino in Miami. And in order to have your slot machines, you needed to have what's called a parimutuel activity, which is either horse racing, dog racing, or Jai-Alai. And dog racing has a lot of negative connotations, cruelty to animals and all these things. So we elected to play Jai-Alai. And we basically had to find Jai-Alai players, which there were none, because the sport the progression of the sport is that in the late 1980s, there was a strike. It was the longest strike in the history of professional sports, lasted almost 3 years. And Jai-Alai went from fairly well known on the East Coast. Really was New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, sort of New England and Mid-Atlantic and Florida where they played it. 10,000 people coming out every night on Friday and Saturday to watch the best players play highlight. And then they went on this ridiculous 3-year strike. And when the strike was over, nobody really gave a damn about highlight anymore. It's only played now in the U.S. professionally in Florida, and we're the last U.S. professional highlight league left. And when we sort of wanted to reinvent the game, there weren't a lot of players left in the U.S. Most were in Spain. The game is from Spain. It's 400 years old, from the Basque region of Spain. It's been played in the U.S. It'll be the 100th anniversary next year, but we didn't have any players. So we went to the University of Miami athletic department. The company that I work for has a really good relationship with the school, and they've been supporters of the school, the family that owns the casino. And they sent out an email for us to all the ex-athletes from basically the past 20 years and said, would any of you like to be professional highlight players? And most thought it was a joke, but we got about 12 guys from the University of Miami, and we found about 8 other guys who had played ex-college or high school athletes in South Florida, and we taught them to play. They did make a documentary about our first season, which was a good documentary, but the guys were terrible at the game when we anointed them professional highlight players. And I guess we were the kind of laughing stock of highlight, and it's not politically correct, but I'm like, well, that's like being the tallest midget. Like, who cares? Nobody cares about the sport. So for the
if you're the last one standing,
right.
Anyway, we were fortunate enough that we recruited some really good athletes, and they became very good players. And we even got some guys from Spain and Mexico to come here to play for us. And now we have the best players in the world. We have the U.S. national champions, the world champions, all play for us now. And we're basically trying to rebrand the sport and give it a new awareness in the United States.
Wow. That's fascinating. And I know I read an article, in Palm Beach, I'm blanking on the name, that goes all about sort of the trajectory of how the sport changed and how it was loved by both Rockies, and Hemingway came and all these things. So how are you going to bring it back beyond the players?
Well,
without telling secrets.
No, there's no secrets.
Free beer and betting. I mean,
right. Resurgence of fake IDs.
Yeah, I mean, we do have not free beer, but $4 beers, which is pretty good compared to what you pay at a stadium nowadays. We are free admission to come in. We are free parking. But really what we're trying to do is put some celebrity cachet around it. We're sort of on this same parallel track with pickleball in the sense that we're playing it. We're trying to attract an audience. They went out and they got Tom Brady and LeBron James and Kevin Durant. We don't have the money to get Tom Brady and LeBron James and Kevin Durant, but we are out there actively trying to attach celebrities to it. We're getting influencers to come out to the games. It's kind of a sport that if you go, you fall in love with it.
Yeah,
it's
that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, almost no one comes to highlight and leaves not liking it. They mostly are like, when can I come back? Oh, and will you let me go out on the court and try it? So that's the reaction we get. They're amazed by how fast the game is and what kind of athletes our guys are. I mean, they're football players or baseball players, and I'm a huge sports fan. I love sports, but our guys will run physical fitness circles around any NFL or MLB player, in the most part. Our guys are going to be faster. They're probably going to be stronger. They're definitely going to be more agile. So we have a lot of fun with that. We've had some MMA guys come out and UFC guys and a couple ex-NFL players, and they've gone out there and they're like, ooh, this is a little more difficult than we thought. So we're hoping that, try to make it a little bit romantic and attach this celebrity. You mentioned Hemingway, and the cool thing about Hemingway is when he was in Cuba during World War II, he took highlight players out on his boat, the Pilar, I think was the boat, and they were searching for German U-boats, and they were going to lob grenades out of their cestas, the highlight players, to try and blow up these U-boats. So I mean, Hemingway was in love with the sport the same way he was in love with bullfighting. It takes a special breed of athlete to play the sport. So we are very much hoping that we can kind of recreate the cachet that surrounded it years ago.
That's fast. I had heard the Hemingway story before, and that he had gone out to drink and try to sink you Germans. The highlight is such a. I had no idea. That's amazing. So I know we're going to run this on Monday, and I believe your season is just starting now. Is that
Our
correct?
season starts tomorrow night. Yeah, Friday night.
So what does that? How long does the season run? How many people are still standing at the end of the season?
So we have 5 teams. So we play it as a team sport. There's 6 players on each team. And our season goes until May 12th, which are our championships. So the 5 teams will play against each other about 4 times each. And then the 2 teams with the most wins will play off in the finals. And our guys, I mean, you know, they earn a living doing this. So they're not making NBA, NFL, MLB money. We're fairly transparent. But for us, a sport like ours, our guys earn between $50,000 and about $125,000 a year, depending on how good they are, how much they win. So we used to pay more than the WNBA. We pay more than Canadian football, than Major League Lacrosse, than obviously these sort of inferior sports like pickleball and spike
Right.
ball and those. So most of the guys, you know, I mean, they're very devoted to it. And then we're like, I guess, the gig economy, or they call it, you know, the hustle down here in Miami. A lot of these guys have second jobs, even third jobs. So they're kind of all in on this, because any escalation we can achieve and, you know, essentially generate more money, sponsorships, merchandise, media rights, primarily will go to the players so that we can raise their salary, and then hopefully just sort of get more athletes, US athletes, interested in potentially playing the sport.
So if you were to train to eventually come and become a player, where would you begin? Would you start on the beach with those little baskets and the ball that you throw back and forth? Would you run? What's the best way to start training?
So the beach with the little baskets is not terrible. Because the cesta, which is what they wear on their arm, is expensive. They're about $400. They're all handmade. There's no factories producing cestas. So there's about 4 or 5 people left in the world that actually make them. It takes around 20 hours to make a cesta. They're woven primarily with strips of chestnut. So we've had these sort of mini ones made. They're good enough for a starter in Spain and shipped over to us. And that's how we would start someone off. We would give them one of those and a tennis ball and say, hey, go out to your park where there's a wall you can just throw against, and throw and catch. And then we're in the process now of sort of starting our own little development league. Finding, you know, primarily we're looking for athletes coming out of college who maybe they originally thought they were going to be professional baseball, football, basketball, but that doesn't generally pan out for most people.
Yeah.
So we offer an alternative for someone who really wants to be a professional athlete. It takes about a year of training 3 or 4 days a week to get proficient enough to be at our lowest level of player right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it seems like it's a pretty, you know, all the strength of football or hockey, even the stamina of soccer. I mean, it's just sort of takes the best of
Everything.
every or the best or worst, depending how you look at it, of every sport, and puts it into one package. Where it seems like it's got to be more challenging for an athlete than something else that is, you know what I mean? Like it seems like it's a hard way to go.
It's a tough way to go. Most of our guys either were born in Spain and are 2nd or 3rd generation players and came here because we're the last league left in the US, or they were athletes in college. Maybe they got a little taste of professional. We have one player who has a Super Bowl ring. We have one player who was in the Chicago White Sox organization, another one who played about 15 years of minor league baseball. And, you know, we kind of joke around about second chance you and these guys who want to try and prolong their careers. The sport, you know, you have to play it right-handed. So we have 3 guys.
I'm screwed.
You catch and throw right-handed. So we had 3 guys who were natural lefties who actually had to learn how to catch and throw with their right hand, which is amazing to me. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I could do barely nothing with my left hand. I'm a righty. I do everything with my right hand. And they had to learn to catch and throw, which amazes me. And then the best analogy we've had is it's sort of like a baseball player who has to catch catch with the glove and then throw the ball out of the glove. He can't transfer it to his hand and throw with his other hand. And at 150 miles an hour and with incredible accuracy. So that's why it's a very special and a cool game. But these guys getting the ex-athletes helps. They're very, very dedicated, you know, and they put in whatever time it takes. And so the locker room is a great place because you have sort of labor and management all on the same page of like, hey, we're trying to save something here. And everybody gets it, which is really nice. It's not one of these where, you know, management and the players don't get along. We get along incredibly well. And we're all sort of in the same boat, oars in the water, trying to make this work.
So the lefties, are they, I always heard growing up as a lefty that, well, if you just learned to golf right-handed, you'd be the best golfer ever. I can't golf with either, but are the lefties just exceptionally better because they've learned to
hands down, I
do
would
this,
think.
right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Coming from two lefties.
Right.
Yeah.
Proud lefties.
I'm amazed by I mean, think about that. Like if you're left, I mean,
Yeah.
if someone told me I had to learn to even write left-handed, forget about like playing a sport with the ball going that fast. I'd be like,
Yeah.
Get it. So yeah, our lefties are amazing. I mean, they obviously had to put in a lot more sort of time and effort. And they're the ones who certainly put the most practice time in. And to this day, even though they're very proficient at this point, they're still kind of first ones here, last ones out. So
See, the best.
And you mentioned sort of one of the points of the league and everything, and everyone being on the same page with this idea of trying to preserve the sport and keep it going and sort of spread the word. How is that going? Are people getting into it? Is it, like you said, you know, I'm assuming the hardest part is getting them in the door, and then, you know, like you said, they see it and they go, wow, this is a lot of fun.
We've had two challenges. One is getting people here to watch it live in Miami, and the other is we export the signal so people can bet on it in different states. So last year we signed a deal with ESPN. So we stream on ESPN3 all of our matches, which has been fantastic, you know, to get them and to get the exposure. The other thing that we do, which I take zero credit for, a matter of fact, I said it was a stupid idea and I've had to eat a lot of humble pie, is my daughter, so this is sort of a family affair. She graduated BU School of Communications and she does our production and our social media. And she said, hey, we should stream this on TikTok. And I said, who is going to watch this on TikTok? And that's probably the dumbest idea I ever heard. And I go, and how are you going to stream it on TikTok? She was going to have one of my people with an iPhone stand there behind the glass wall and film it and comment on it. I said, well, look, you can do what you want, but don't expect anybody to watch it on TikTok. First day we streamed on TikTok, 50,000 unique viewers. We now average about 100,000 unique viewers when we stream on TikTok. They have no idea what they're watching. You know, they're because there's this chat and they're like, what is this? Where is this? Are these professionals? Is this real? You know?
Yeah.
But every stream on TikTok, 100,000. I think we, for our championship game, over 200,000 unique viewers on TikTok. So it catches people's imaginations, and the goal is to, you know, just kind of knock on every door until we get some people, whether it's a Netflix or an Amazon or whoever it may be, to be like, oh, this is awesome. Yeah, we want to sort of buy into this. And that, along with the celebrities that we're actually talking to now, and we hope to announce some celebrities, sort of one national spokesperson for the sport and someone who will be the commissioner of the league, more in a ceremonial role, but we're negotiating that right now. So hopefully within 30 days, we'll roll that out. And we think that will really kind of get us where we need to go. We didn't realize how important that was in the sports world, to really tie yourself or align yourself with, you know, celebrity athletes or actors or, you know, singers or whatever it may be.
This is probably a dumb question, but are you optimistic for the future of the sport? Do you feel like things are coming together?
I'm incredibly optimistic because of the following we seem to be garnering and the social media. We had no TikTok followers less than a year ago. We have, I think, 225,000 now. We had no Instagram followers. We have 45,000 now. You know, verified on Instagram, verified on TikTok. We get inquiries all the time about, you know, where are you playing and how can we come and when do you play and things like that. So absolutely feel great about the future of the sport. Never realized how difficult it was going to be. But now that we're all on the journey, sort of no one wants to give up. And it's like, okay, maybe we won't be the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, but certainly watch out rugby and some of these other sports or table tennis or whatever. We're coming for you. So
Pickleball is going to be taken down.
I know. I just
Yeah.
keep hearing whoever this celebrity is that's going to be the spokesperson. I just hear them saying like, Tom Brady was too afraid to play highlight. He's over there playing pickleball. Come play with me,
Well, we are not talking to the mild-mannered celebrities, as you
Good.
can.
No,
Of
course
There will
not.
be some bravado in our
Perfect. That's
Absolutely.
perfect.
Highlight is happening at the Magic City Casino in Miami, Florida. However, you can enjoy the sport from wherever you are around the world. Check out their website for wagering, watching, all sorts of stuff. They are at highlightworld.com.
Why the Podcast is produced by the Professional Production Company. Please be sure to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts because we're shallow and need constant validation. For more information, you can check out our website, whythepodcast.com. And like everyone else, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Today's show was recorded and produced by Heidi Hedquist and myself from our world headquarters located on the second floor of the professional office building, centrally located downtown. Our reluctant executive producers are John Sauvé and Sandy Stone. Our willing producers are Rachel Allen and Randy Jeanette. Our intern is Zach Jackson. This one's for Philippe. Thanks for joining us. Flash, we're coming home.
Nigel, is that you? Are you here, Nigel?